Hey, boss, see her hair color? She's that elven princess.
And we caught ourselves a big one, eh? Lord Graham will be thrilled when we offer up our latest catch.
What's good, anime enthusiasts? I am at my wit's end, almost at my wit's end with this anime. To be honest with every single one of you, you can look good, your animations can be clean in some places, your characters can be drawn nicely, you might have very nice scenery, nice background and all that good stuff. But if your story is not hitting, good looks can't save you. That's all I'm saying. But I will say more anyway, because this is a review. This episode really just solidified my worries and critiques from the previous episode and the previous episode before that. Things are not adding up. Things are looking rushed. Things are looking so ad hoc, so nothing, so you know. Again, we had a very nice premise and we are so far gone from it. I don't think this can recover from it. We've moved away from the human continent. We're on our third continent now. Now we're dealing with some other BS that took us away from something else we were supposed to do. So what am I supposed to feel about this anime other than what is happening, or does any of this matter, or do the stakes even matter or anything? Yes, there are some nice moments. Yes, there are some clarifications on things, but the whole overall picture is looking muddier and not so cohesive. So last episode we left off of where we're leaving the Elf continent because we're done with Amelia's shoddy backstory. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It literally did not matter in a sense. Amelia is in love with Akira because of his actions. Yay, whoop-de-doo, whatever. Somehow Liam also loves Kilika. Doesn't really matter anymore. We're out of here. On the way to the port. On the way to the coast side, in order to take a ship over to the Beast continent, we have a conversation with Knight, and we figure out that Knight needs to, act out from time to time and do something in order to not arouse suspicion for the Demon Lord. Unfortunately, Knight is still the eyes and ears of the Demon Lord, despite being Akira's familiar, so the Demon Lord knows things anyway. So what's the point of Knight just not being able to do whatever Knight does? Okay. And the Demon Lord is very interested in Akira and wants to meet him, possibly from the duel that he did with Kilika and using shadow magic. And I have in my notes that the Demon Lord is probably the first hero, because that would make sense. The hero is interested in the other people that came in from the world, or maybe the Demon Lord is some whole completely new guy that's interested in the heroes, and he's actually pretty good, and the king is evil. And by the way, the king, we don't know anything else about what's going on over there on the human continent. It doesn't really matter anymore. We don't even know what's going on with the heroes party that's coming to the Beast Folk continent. Anyway, as you can see, I'm getting a little frustrated and flustered. But Akira's spidey senses tingle, and he stops the cart. He makes the escort stop the cart, and some kidnappers show up, and they want everybody to stand and deliver and tie themselves up so they can take Amelia as hostage. And Akira goes Zawadu and knocks them out. One of the escorts notes, we figure out through what the kidnappers say, and what the escort says is that the kidnappers are with somebody named Graham, or Lord Graham, and he's suspected to be a royal in Uruk, the biggest nation in the Beast Folk continent. So that's a little nugget of information that does have some follow through. It does come into play later. Speaking of later, we do reach the coastline and we take a ship and we go out to the Beast Folk continent. And along the way, Amelia is trying to get Akira's attention. She's trying to act cute. She's trying to spend time with them. And it doesn't work. Akira's just reading a book that he got from the king, as his reward for winning the duel and forgiveness for what the king's done. But we do reach Brute, the continent of the Beast Folk, and we hit the port town of Ur. Along the way, we get stopped by some Beast Folk punks that don't know any better, looking down on humans and being racist. And Akira just uses Shadow Magic to blind them, and we move past them. End of story. While we're walking through the port city, townsfolk are getting a little weird and afraid of Knight. And Knight says it's because he's a black cat. He's an ill omen. His kind is an ill omen for all the beast folk and on the continent. After Knight gets oogled at for being a black cat, we see a small scene where somebody's in the cut that's checking us out. They don't come to play later this episode. That's just it. It's just a single scene. Ooh, mystery person. Anyway, we get back to we find an inn to stay at. And there's this whole several scenes of Amelia being very thirsty. Like, this girl cannot wait to get in bed with Akira. I guess it was supposed to be funny and comedic, but it just made Amelia look desperate for Akira, and I couldn't get behind it. So in the morning, nothing really happens at night. Akira just fakes being asleep, and that's the end of that. In the morning, Knight shows up saying that, we got a visitor. And the visitor is Crow, a smith. And Knight made that, Knight went out that night to actually meet with Crow and bring him back to the inn so that Akira can have the world's finest smith at hand in order to get his repairs on his weapons. Also, Crow just outright calls Knight the nightmare of Amelia. We don't know what that means yet, but, Knight has infamy here in the Beast Folk continent. With the townsfolk looking weird and afraid at him. So, while we go back and forth between Akira and the smith Crow, as they're talking over what needs to be done, Akira is asking for repairs on his sword and for some assassin projectile tools. Ooh, that's good. Finally, Akira is actually trying to be an assassin. Happy days. Also, Crow is calling out Akira's inexperience as an assassin. What with his dulled blade and everything else. And Knight says that Crow was once a party member of the last hero. So this dude's pretty famous. And so after Crow heads out, a few minutes later, Amelia's like, I'm gonna head out. And Akira's like, why? And she's like, I want to talk to Crow. And Akira's like, alright, see you. By the way, Knight, go ahead and follow Amelia just to make sure she's okay. So, at Crow's smith, Uri, Amelia talks about the last hero's party and how they failed to defeat the demon lord and only the hero and the beastmen made it back. That beastman being Crow. And Crow's like, yeah, we came back. If you're worried about the elf that we had with us, he didn't make it out. If you want to berate me or degrade me or whatever you want, be my guest. And Mia's like, no. I want you to teach me how to fight. Crow's like, what? And Mia's like, yeah, I want to learn how to fight because I want to be useful to Akira because he's getting better and I want to chase and follow him. And Crow's like, nah, fam. I ain't trying to get in a cypher right now. Nobody can keep up with me, and if at any point somebody's just gonna give up anyway. Emilia's like, no, I won't give up. I'm not like them. I'm gonna be my best because I want to be useful to Akira. So at some point, Knight and Crow go back and forth, and Crow keeps harping on Knight being a nightmare of Amelia. Amelia finally asks why you call that, and Knight breaks it down. A century ago, Amelia was the most prosperous city on the Beastfolk continent, and the Demon Lord said, "Yo, Knight, teach them a lesson, because they invaded our territory. Show them why they shouldn't mess with us." And Knight all Knight had to do was issue a warning. Also, the retelling of this is a one-to-one recreation of what Akira had to go through the familiar ritual. It's a nice touch. Anyway, Knight says, "You know what? I'm just gonna let my primal instincts take over." And he goes demon mode, and he goes ham. A little too much. In which, at the end of it all, he just had a very high body count, and the whole town was destroyed. And that's how he got to be called the Nightmare of Amelia, and that's why black cats of any kind are just ostracized and are very afraid of from the beast folk. Knight isn't asking forgiveness. Knight is really not asking for forgiveness, but he's saying, yo, it's not gonna happen again. I'm not like that anymore. I actually don't want to forfeit my life so easily anymore. Akira gave me a second chance. I'm gonna follow him, and we're gonna do great things. And Crow's like, the tale still continues. I'm like, what else did Knight do? Knight didn't really do anything. It's the fact that Crow is outside of a grave in the rain, and Knight, at this juncture in the story, it's still a century ago, but it's after the attack on the city. And Knight, telling us, hey, aren't you one of the guys that was with the hero? And Crow's like, yeah, but I don't blame you for the Demon Lord for anything. It is what it is. But you want to know who I really hate? Who I really want revenge on? That Lord Graham guy. He's the one. Why? Because this dude just was one of the worst. It's like one of the worst kind of nobles or royalty. The dude wanted to go through the city, but he wanted to go through very quickly because he thought, a black cat Knight might come back through the city. And so he just kicks Crow's sister off to the side. He commands his guards to cast magic and just blows people up and blows through the city in order to get through. I'm like, hey, yo. Valid. I understand, Crow. Stand on business. So Graham Cluster is now Crow's ire. But he didn't pursue revenge because he says his sister wouldn't want that. Amelia's like, I'm sorry. And Crow's like, nah, you ain't gotta feel sorry for me. And Amelia's like, not you, bro. I feel sad for your sister, because you're using that as an excuse to run away and not do things. And Crow's like, what are you talking about? What you know about me? And Amelia tries to relate Crow's situation to her situation with her sister. And it all falls back to, once Akira came to my life, he showed me the way. I understand him, and now that's why I'm with him. And Crow's like, get out of here. Oh my god. God, I love isekai writing sometimes. But after that, Amelia's walking through the city. No, not Amelia. Akira is about to head into the labyrinth and he's checking things over. And all of a sudden, he just becomes under attack by this blue azure fog thing. And demons start popping out. And the city is just getting assaulted. So Akira and Amelia on both sides are going through the city, defending things. And the little imp dude that's covered up who tricked Amelia's sister Kilika appears And Amelia's like, hey, I recognize you. And it shows a very quick flash cut to where Amelia was actually there. She was hiding behind the trees. But the little dude reveals himself as Almtrez. And he says, and he told me, hey, Demon Lord said I'm to spare you, elf girl. And that scene just cuts there. That's it. I assume that Amelia gets caught and there's nothing he can do, which is confirmed because we switch back to Akira, and Akira is like getting active through the city, rushing through, getting through the chaff. He even picks up a claymore looking sword that's not a dagger, even though he has a dagger, but he's cutting through the ways. And Knight says, hey, I couldn't protect Amelia. And Akira just snaps. He activates his shadow magic and he sucks up as many demons and all that azure blue smog as he could. And while he's doing that, he monologues about how Amelia is one of, if not the only one in this new world, outside of his old world, that he actually really cares about. And he passes out. The end. That's the episode. Folks, this show is not looking great as far as, this story is not looking great as far as, it's like some kind of continuity side. Like this whole Crow backstory, I was like, oh snap, we're about to get active against this Grand Cluster guy. All of a sudden, Tress is like, no, you deal with me first. And I'm like, what was... We had a nice setup, and then we just had a stop sign that says, no, go over here first. And then I guess hopefully we can come back to this Graham dude and get rid of him and Crow can be happy. But no, we gotta save Amelia for some reason. Also, once again, Akira isn't being an assassin and he's using shadow magic. To be fair, he did knock out those kidnapper thug guys with the back of his sword. Every time else that he got active, that actually mattered. Like the beast folk dudes, he used shadow magic to blind them. And even though he cut through the smaller demons with, like a regular sword and dagger, when the chips came down, he had to use shadow magic to suck everything up. And even though he is an assassin, he was still on the front lines. He wasn't sneaking around or anything. He just like cut through things. And once again, it just comes back to what I said. Akira's just not being an assassin. And if you look at the title of the episode, it says, my status as an assassin. An assassin. What are the names of these episode titles? The assassin sleeps in a bed. The assassin calls a name. The assassin this. The assassin that. Are we truly an assassin if, for whatever reason, the most things that we do in an episode is just magic? We just use shadow magic. What does that have to do with an assassin? We haven't even done any assassinations. We haven't done any assassination jobs. Yes, I know that we are following the promises of our dear late Royal Knight dude, Captain Targan, that we will become an assassin that doesn't kill. We're going to become an assassin that, does good things. We just have not had a moment to do assassin things yet. And we're almost halfway through the season. Again, if we just have this all-powerful OP button called shadow magic, why are we called an assassin in the first place? That's just, oh god. That's just something I'm on. This anime just defeats me. And on so many levels. The only two things left in this anime that I'm looking forward to, that are my last hopes for this, is who is this last hero and who is this demon lord. I want to know more about these two things. I'm done with Amelia. She's now just the elf love interest party member that is so fan service-y that she just does whatever she wants to try to get to the main character. That's it, whatever it is, what gets her stuff. And Akira is already at that OP point to where he just press shadow magic and it solves the problem. Third thing, I'm sorry. The heroes party. What are they gonna do? I want to know what they're doing, because they aren't that powerful, but they're also interesting at the same time. I want to know more about them. I don't care about Akira anymore, to be honest with you. Crow had his backstory. I don't care about him unless he has some things about say about the last hero. Forgive me about being dismissive. It's just how I truly feel on the inside about the anime. Like I said, I have some hopes out for it. 3 last hopes. But we'll see what happens with those. But I would like to know what y'all think. Comment down below what y'all think. Manga and light novel readers. Let me know if anything has been skipped or rushed, because I sure do know that we only spent 1 episode in the Elf continent, and that was all about Amelia and Kilika, and that was literally negated in like 1 minute. We only had really like 3 minutes of solid story last episode. The other 20 minutes was just fluff, fake news. And now this episode, while everything is real, who cares about Amelia anymore? She's just thirsty. She's just following Akira. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get off that. I'm gonna get off that soapbox. But yeah, really, let me know what y'all gotta think in the comment. Let's discuss things and calm me down. But with that, I hope y'all, despite my crash outs, I hope y'all have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I hope my crash out was enough entertainment for you to have a better day. If not, hope your day is still better. Well, with that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.